Hello, this is Valerie Moore from the Frederian Gazette. Thank you for spending your evening with us as we reenact the controversial book, Say I Sue Them Not, written by Kingsley Montevello, edited by Alexander Phillips, and narrated by Pepper Holloway. If you've enjoyed our program and want to support independent journalism, please donate to our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/the Frederian Gazette and leave a review. Reviews help other listeners find us. This program has been sponsored by Kingsley's Stain Be Gone cleaning fluid. It happens to us all. A half hour before your guests are set to arrive, and there's a giant stain on your best tablecloth. What are you to do? Never fear, Kingsley's Stain Be Gone is here to spray, dab, and watch the stain disappear. We pass the mic to Pepper Holloway, who will be reading Episode 3, Sebastian Wallace subpoenaed to testify in Kingsley's trial for war crimes. Sebastian Wallace's letter to the Plumet members of the Hevian Chambers, January 9th, 1830. Dear Honorable Plumet members of the Chambers, in 2 weeks, we'll be called back to Berkassa to sit in Dejon Chamber and approve or deny the Unionists' proposal to increase our colonial army's budget from 10 million pinta to 52 billion pinta. They claim this increase is to support our forces in Al-Kahun, who are dealing with a Sondaran invasion, as well as an Andarium-led rebellion, our forces in the Hevian Hills, who are still dealing with the IFM, as well as a new offensive to reclaim New Berkassa from Sondaran forces. Buried in the bill is a clause that would grant 30 million out of the 52 million pinta to the Troy and Sons Railroad Company to build a new railroad that will run through 5 cities in the Hevian Hills and connect our border to the Kilbrada atomic border. Within this clause, there is a subclause that promises Troy and Sons a land grant of 300 million pintas worth of land in the Hevian Hills. We could assume this land will be used to build said railroad, but there are no details as to how the land is to be used or how the 20 million pinta will be spent. But there is a clause that guarantees Troy and Sons legal ownership of all mines and assets found in the land. Additionally, Troy and Sons will have 30 years to pay back the loan, with the government guaranteeing the interest. According to my calculations, this will, in actuality, provide the Troy family 55 million pinta over the 30-year period. When the people of Hiva voted for us during the last election, they gave us a clear mandate to end our wars and cut back on government spending. How can we go back to our constituents and tell them we voted for a 42 million pinta increase in our defense budget to not only continue our existing conflicts, but to start a new one and inflame the icky issue? A bill that would enrich a company that has already made extreme profits off the backs of railroad men and women who built our existing lines in Hiva and has been investigated 3 times for financial fraud and mismanagement. I am aware that Stephanie Troy has taken over Troy and Sons following her husband's recent death. But can we believe any guarantees she will handle the business any differently than her late husband? No, my fellow chamber members, we cannot approve this bill as it is currently written. The Unionist Party will charge us with being unpatriotic and blame us for abandoning our forces in Al-Kahun. We must not rise to their bait and defend ourselves on their terms. Instead, we must focus on the following counter-arguments. 1. If this bill truly to support the army, then why are we giving 30 million pinta and 300 million pinta worth of land to personal friends of the McAllister administration? While the bill asks for 50 million pinta, the army will only receive an additional 10 million and the rest will be wasted away on a domestic project that has not been properly defined or explained. This is an insult to our armed forces and everyone who sacrifices to keep our country safe. Our armed forces are facing a fight to the death in Al-Kahun, but this bill asks for an increase in funds to open a new front on our very border. The Plumet Party believes that the forces in Al-Kahun should be given our full support, and we should not undermine their efforts to retain our newest colony by starting new wars to reclaim territory lost by the Unionist Party. If they could not hold on to New Berkassa when both Al-Kahun and the Hevian Hills were at peace, why would we trust this administration to reclaim it when both Al-Kahun and the Hevian Hills are at war? 3. This bill is prepared to pay a civilian company to build a railroad through the Hevian Hills, but provides no fund or plan to protect our civilians as they build the proposed railroad. The IFM have blocked the army from breaking the farmer rent strike, and we are beginning to feel the effects of being denied access to food grown in the Hevian Hills. Does this administration truly believe the IFM will allow Troy and Sons to build a railroad without protest or disturbances? It is clear the current size of our forces in the Hevian Hills is insufficient to maintain the peace. Why does this administration want to make the situation in the Hevian Hills worse? If we grant permission for Troy and Sons to build a railroad in the Hevian Hills without concessions to the IFM, we will be dragged into an all-out war against the Ickies. Instead of wasting more time, money, resources, and lives trying to suppress the Ickies, the Plumet Party urges the McAllister administration to pursue less expensive democratic solutions. We have a chance to turn the proposed railroad project into a joint effort between Hevians and Ickies, not another lightning rod for violence and death. If we stick to these arguments, we will present the Plumet Party as fiscally responsible, concerned about the well-being and morale of our soldiers, and proponents of peace between Hevians and the Ickies. We will paint McAllister and the Unionist Party as power-hungry, corrupt warmongers who want to continue to harm our international reputation and subject our war-weary populace to another round of endless conflicts that will once again prevent the government from addressing its domestic responsibilities. Drift from these arguments, or support the proposed military budget and risk the wrath of your constituents and diminished re-election potential. As party leader, I will only support those candidates who put their constituents first and who want a peaceful and bountiful future for Hiva. Of course, my door is always open to those who wish to discuss my proposed position and set of arguments further. I delight in achieving consensus through face-to-face conversations. Your humble servant, Sebastian Wallace. You've just heard Sebastian Wallace subpoenaed to testify in Kingsley's trial for war crimes from Say I Slew Them Not by Kingsley Montevello. Tonight's episode was read by Pepper Holloway and was sponsored by Kingsley's Stain Bidon cleaning fluid, the stain remover you want for those impossible to remove stains. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Frederian Gazette and go to our website www.frederiangazette.com for episode extras. Feel free to send us any questions about the podcast. We love to hear from you. Join us next Monday at 5 p.m. for episode 4. President Cathal Galloway speaks at Sakali Mine Memorial. Hevian president refuses to acknowledge the event.